Yo guys, what's going on? This is Tony here, and today I have another global tournament deck for you guys. I'm currently 25-0 with it, so you can see it works really well here, and it also has a lot of crowns. I mean, 45 and 25 games. That's almost a two average crowns per game. So really insane there. Here's the deck. I've had it on the channel before. It is my Lavaloon Freeze deck. But this is my alt. I kind of tilted on my main account, and my second account, you could see over there, I ended at 23-5, which isn't terrible. But here's some of the matchups. I've mostly been playing Graveyard, which I'm completely fine with. This is like the biggest hard counter that I've beaten so far. But just a lot of like, oh yeah, an Eagle, is not fun. But just a lot of really good fundamentals on these games. So I'm just going to be sharing some, or like going over some replays with you guys today, because I don't really want to play live matches when I'm this high up. It's just too hard to focus, and I don't want to risk it because I could like risk my finish because if I don't want to tilt or anything. So anyway, we're gonna hop straight into those. I'm gonna pick out the best. I don't want constantly be just doing graveyard games, but I'll be back with the first match. Okay, guys, so for this first game, I got a game against Zaza. He was running Graveyard, but the only reason I'm showing this one is that he had Snowball, which really helps deal with my Barbs, which makes this matchup a lot tougher. So we're just going to hop straight into this first game. I'm going to actually be two-timing the speed on the bulk of these games just to, and probably until Double Elixir because nothing too interesting happens. This deck is pretty slow, but against Goblin Huts, you always want to go opposite lane early, especially with Hound, because odds are it's Graveyard or Lava, and either one you just don't want to go near it. So, supported by Lava Hound with Inferno Dragon, it should help clean up. He played the Snowball there, and that was when I realized that he had Snowball, and I was really, I threw the angry face, because Snowball's a lot harder to deal with, so. But against the Graveyard, you always want to keep your Barbs for Graveyard. That's another big thing with this deck. So, Barbs for Graveyard, you want to Baby Dragon Goblin Huts early, or you can just Hound opposite lane. So he screwed up there. He didn't have Elixir for the defense. So he's pretty mad, as you can see. Misses a Snowball, but we take this tower here. He just decides not to defend. I mean, he only had 78 health, so. But we're gonna just Hound again, as you really kind of have to play aggressive with this deck because you just don't. There's like a lot of awkward hands with the NATO. I mean, you got Freeze, but I decided just Barbs on the right side, but I played them a little high. I messed up a NATO because my NATO is actually level 8 on this account, and then I also okay, I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna slow this down. It's going a little fast, but at this point, I'm kind of looking not good. I mean, he's got damage on both lanes. It's hard to defend a Graveyard because he's got the Snowball and Poison. I mean, just look at how fast these Barbs die once he Snowballs. They just vanished. Like, they're all gone. So, luckily, he didn't push this lane. If he had pushed on the right side, I 100% would have lost. So, that obviously wouldn't have been good. This is a little sus as well. I just did not have a good play, so I had to freeze on defense, try to hit some of the Skellies, get my Barbs down, and that way that all dies, and we don't lose the game. So, very close game there, but we managed to clutch up, get the dub, so... that was the first game. Next game I'm going to show is going to be against Polo here. This is the highest Lava player. Played him at 23 wins, so I figured I probably should include a game against Lava as it's a pretty common deck in this global tournament. So we got the Hound in hand. I don't like to. I kind of like to wait until double elixir. Like I don't like playing anything in single. It's just risky because this deck is like 4.3. It's very heavy. So, but he Goblin Hunted opposite, which means I'm just gonna rush him. I like to Baby Dragon in the middle once I have a Hound tanking. That way I can kill the Goblin Hut and the Baby Dragon actually supports. So there you go. You'll notice that with this deck, a lot of the time I'll just win a game based off my first push. And so it looks really bad, but then all of a sudden the freeze just kills everything. If you guys didn't know, NATO plus freeze kills minions, lava pups, spear gobs. Basically, oh, I mean, spear gobs died just to NATO, but princess, dart gob, rascal girl. So those are like the big ones. Oh, and firecracker. So all those units, if you NATO freeze them, then they'll die. So you'll see that. I think I might have one bait deck at the very end for you guys. I haven't played too many bait decks, which is good. This deck does actually struggle against bait, you'll notice. With only Barb Barrel. I mean, you're probably like, well, you have Barb Barrel NATO, but my cycle is like 4.3 elixir, and it's just such a heavy deck that it's really hard to like keep up with their cycle with this deck. So once again, we took that tower. Now we just kind of have to defend for the last 30 seconds here. So if you guys were watching, I took that tower early. I did not have a good defense over here, and that's why I went for that push. I knew he was going to have to respond to it, and then I could just Inferno Drag over here. And I knew that would work well. So He also Mega Mean over there. That was a mistake, but I realized I can just NATO. I was trying to catch the miner, but then I could just freeze the miner and the game will be over. Might look a little sus, but I knew that I had that by a pretty decent margin, as that poison wasn't going to take the tower anyway. So I was completely fine with that. But yeah, as I was saying, a main thing with this deck is taking a first tower and then playing really defensively. So you'll see that a lot in a lot of these games as well. This bait deck, this is a very hard matchup because, as I said, they just outcycle me. So. Okay, guys, so he just started off with a Skelly Barrel. I did not have Barb Barrel, so I just kind of had to try my best to defend with a Baby Dragon. He'll get a good amount of chip. As you can see, almost 400, no, almost 300 damage. So he wastes his bats, and that's why I Hound here. Mainly, you don't want to Hound until double Elixir against bait decks, but when they waste like a bats, because, bats are a big problem for this deck because you obviously don't have Snowball or Zap, so you'll notice that I defend with or like whenever they waste their bats, I'll go in. So take a little damage over there, but then we can Barb Barrel. I thought I was in a good spot. I knew he had bats. I'm surprised he actually kited the Inferno Drake, but I think he thought that I had Zap. So he didn't want to just play the bats on the Inferno Drake because then he would lose his tower. So anyway, there's nothing I can do. The Dark Gob is just impossible to kill. The card's really strong against this deck. I just can't kill it. Finally have to Barbs it, which is not a good trade. Unfortunately, my Barbs also split, which means, yeah, see, I threw the Angry Face out. But because they split, there wasn't much I could do. But we're going to hop on double elixir, or 2 times speed here. See how I didn't Hound there when I normally would have? That's a perfect example of me waiting until double elixir to Hound. And so now I'm just going to keep defending. Like, as I said, you don't want to Hound. I have to waste my freeze here on bats. That's my point. Those bats are so pesky. I think I have to Barbs this. Yeah, it's such a bad situation. Look at all these negative elixir trades, and then this Dark Goblin's going to get a ton of value. I tried to apply a little pressure, but it's just he outcycles too fast. He's right back to more bats. He didn't even need to throw the bats. So at this point, you guys are probably looking like, how could you possibly win? Well, here's your answer. Basically, you got to get a good counter push when they're low on elixir, catch them on a misplay. So you can see I keep pushing here. Ignore the Skelly Barrel. That NATO killed 2 Dark Gobs, and it killed 2 Dark Gobs. The NATO did, and it helped with cleanup on the bomb tower and all that. So once the Dark Gobs are out of their hand, there's not much you can do. But as you guys can see, he is still defending, even after that massive push on him. But I get really lucky here that my Loon went to the left of the Inferno Dragon, and for that reason, it avoids the bomb tower and manages to win the game. So we kind of got a little lucky, but that's what you guys got to do against the bait deck. It's just such a bad matchup. But anyway, we got another game. This one is against I think it's 002. I don't know, not a very good player. He switched to lava. That's funny. But this is a Giant Skelly RG deck. I don't know if you guys have seen it with Earthquake and Firecracker. It's actually pretty common, like surprisingly. Firecracker's another one of those cards. It's basically like the Dark Goblin. It's just super hard to deal with this deck. So you'll see me kind of struggling in here, but in the end we managed to get the dub, especially with the Barbs. The Barbs are really strong in this matchup. But anyway, here's the so we're gonna start. We're gonna go 2 times speed. As I previously said, this deck is pretty slow, so I'm able to hopefully keep up. So we're both kind of chilling. I think he eventually just splits bats, which is funny because he waits like 30 seconds to do it. So I don't know why, but he does that. So there you go. There's the bats. I go straight for Hound just because I didn't have a good counter. If he had like a miner, I could have been in trouble, but luckily he didn't. So here, I kind of just say, okay, well, I'll take the hit on the Giant Skelly, but then he goes for the RG also. So at that point, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll probably lose the tower here. But I actually managed to save the tower with 300 health. But unfortunately, that Firecracker, I don't know if you guys can see her up there in the top right, but she is going to be so annoying. So those were really bad Barbs. Yeah, I threw Oops out. I just kind of forgot about the Firecracker. They wouldn't have been too terrible if the Firecracker was dead, but I decided to try to defend here. He sacks a Firecracker like an idiot, but his Giant Skeleton will get the tower, clean that all up. So it's even 1-1, even almost an elixir. Basically everything was even going into double elixir here. But I want to stack up a big push here. So I started with a Inferno Dragon. I'm going to throw Loon. I'm going to throw Baby Dragon in the, I believe, pocket. But I might throw it to... No, I'm going to help with the Skelly Barrel. That's right. And then I can NATO just to kill all the units. He's got his first Firecracker down. I'm pretty sure he gets the second one down. Unfortunately, my Loon will go down here, but he sacks another Giant Skelly. At this point, I realize that my entire push is about to get nuked by the Giant Skeleton Bomb, so I decided to reset, get another Hound down. As you can see, it all does get nuked, like I said, but he goes aggressive with an RG. I decided just barbs here. I know that they're going to get hit by the firecracker and most likely die, but look at how fast they just shredded that RG. So that ended up being a really good play and quite frankly being worth it. So we're going to loon here in offense. I believe in the pocket, yeah. And then guys, I'm telling you, this NATO, all you need is one good NATO. Look at those two firecrackers. One's dead. The other one's just chilling, but I believe with the freeze, we win this game. So yes, there's the freeze. Nothing he can do. Just takes him out. You really just got to go NATO on those units like Firecracker, Dark God. Wait for them to try to stack two, and then you just NATO it all together with a Baby Dragon, and that should do enough. So we got the next game. I'm going to show you this E-Golem game. I think that's a good one. And then I think, and then the Hogs deck, and then I might have one more. I'm not sure. But here's an E-Golem matchup. Surprisingly, this is actually not a terrible matchup because of the NATO Freeze Baby Dragon combo. But anyway, we go for Hound first play in this matchup. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I guess I was feeling antsy in this game. This was a little bit earlier in the global tournament where I was not playing as like clean. So, but anyway, I go for the Loon here. Or wait, do I? I think I do. Yeah, so I go for the Loon, and then I also Inferno Dragon on his E-Drag because I realized that it's not going to get much value. That was a really bad freeze. I didn't think that the Loon was going to get dragged over to the Gob Hut, or I wouldn't have done that. But he goes for an Eagle Healer push, and at this point, I'm thinking I've lost. This game's over. But we managed to defend it decently, but we lose over half our tower. And so I decide I'm going to try to push with my Loon here, see what I can do. But he ends up over-committing on a NATO, and that was the point when I was like, okay, let's push. So I try to tank the E-Drag. Now that his E-Drag's out of hand, I realize, oh, well, I can just Inferno Drag. Then I realize he's going to Gob Hut, so I can just Baby Dragon in the pocket. And now we're looking really good. Because with a singular NATO, sadly my Baby Dragon does go down, but I can Barbs the Eagle and get a bunch of Elixir, freeze the E-Drag so it dies, go for a Loon because he just wasted his NATO again. And even though my tower's at 246, I'm able to take his, and we are looking very strong. So at that point, I realized, okay, well, I can just freeze his Eagle, and that way he can't break through. Set up another push just in case he somehow cycles back to Earthquake, which he actually almost gets to it here. You'll see 1 second left. He had Elixir, and I believe Earthquake every tick is 64, so I think he almost had that. And I think they're called Golemites. I don't know what the second. No, the Blobs, I think. I don't know. The second stage of the E-Golem also almost got my tower. So a little close there, but that's all good. We got the dub in the end. So, what was it? I was going to show you. Oh, okay. So I have where was it? Okay, this Firecracker deck. This was it should have been a very tough matchup, but not going to lie, this guy did not play it that well. But we played fundamentally really strong here. This will be the last one to show you. Most games before this, the problem is the players are just, no offense to them, not very good at the game. And so it's just not worth showing you that because it's kind of skewed because I might beat a really hard counter, but it's probably because the player's bad. So anyway, really bad start here. He 100 in the back, and I didn't have much. But it turns out that it'll actually work out as I have a Loon down. But I had to ignore the guards. Look at this. I had to freeze on defense. The Heal Spirit lives. Somehow doesn't hit anything. We luckily activate King with the Firecracker. And then we clean up the pigs. But we take a lot of damage on both towers. I don't know if you guys could see all that. I probably should have slowed it down early. A lot of things happen early on in this game. But I was like, okay, this sucks. He's got Hunter. Hunter's a really hard counter. Obviously, he's got Firecracker, which, as I've said, is just impossible to deal with. And then he's got pigs, so that's not gonna be fun because I don't. Pigs are not too bad, but it's just the air counters that's the main problem here. So he's gonna just cycle this first Firecracker, and if you guys see my hand, I got nothing. So I decided I gotta defend these pigs. That's my number one priority. If I do that, I should be fine. And I decide I think if I Loon here, even though he could Hunter, I could just NATO it all and I'll be fine. So luckily he actually wastes his Hunter like on not the correct place, but I'm just kind of chilling. I'm like debating freezing, but then I realized that I'm already going to get a drop and then I probably should just NATO this all together on the death damage just to make sure that I basically take this tower. So he has to actually waste his guards on defense here. See, a better play would use Heal Spirit, but I'm not trying to roast anybody, so. But we're just going to Barb Barrel here to make sure that he has to respond, which he's probably going to respond with the Heal Spirit, so. But anyway, he goes for a Firecracker in the back. Not the best Firecracker, but he lets our Barb get a hit. This is my point, guys. These players, not the best. No offense, guys. Not trying to start any beef, but we're fine here. So he goes like full send. So he just Barbs freeze, and that'll honestly just clean up so well. It's just such a strong defense. But this is that the like I mentioned it earlier. At this point I'm like I'm just gonna defend. There's nothing he can do, and I got a tower early. Why wouldn't I defend? So you'll see. I as I've said I've done that in a lot of these games. I did not mean to play that loon, by the way. I was trying to play I think baby dragon, but I'm like whatever, it's fine. Even though that dies, with barbs are just so strong on defense. So I go for I think I realize guys, this is gonna be a really good defense here. So he lets the Inferno Dragon take the tower, but he's got pigs, he's got Hunter, he has a Firecracker and a Heal Spirit. So I'm like, okay, we'll just NATO freeze with the Baby Dragon, and then a Barb Barrel, and his entire push does not get a singular hit. Just gets absolutely shut down. He spent about 13 elixir, and I just killed it all with a Baby Dragon NATO freeze Barb Barrel, which sounds like a lot, but it was still a positive elixir trade because the Barb and the uh, Baby Dragon lit. But okay, sorry. I'm talking a lot. I'm not used to this. I can't imagine streamers doing that. But that's the last game I wanted to show you guys. I think that was a good session. As I said, level 8 NATO. The only good thing about the level 8 NATO is that it actually helps to activate King against like skeletons. So that's the best part about it is that like well, I mean not the best, but the only good thing about it being under leveled. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned something. This deck is really strong. It's really underrated. It beats a lot of the meta decks. Just pray you don't play too much bait. So, but other than that, as I said, thank you guys for watching. It really does mean a lot. My channel's been growing a lot recently, and I'm so grateful to you guys. But enjoy your day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.